Recording 2.
Long ago, all the fire on earth came from Mahuika, the fire goddess. Mahuika was the grandmother of the trickster Maui. One evening, Maui lay beside his fire and stared into the flames, watching it flicker and dance. He wondered, where does the fire come from? Maui couldn't stop his curiosity, so he decided to find out the answer. While everyone was sleeping in the middle of the night, Maui went to every village and extinguished all the fires until not one single fire burned. Then he waited at his where. The following morning, an uproar filled the village. "How do we cook our breakfast without fire?" called a worried mother. "How will we keep ourselves warm at night?" cried another. "We can't live without fire. We're nothing without it." The villagers displayed their worry to one another. The villagers were very shocked. They asked Taranga, who was Maui's mother, to help them solve the problem. "Someone will have to go to see the great goddess Mahuika to ask her for fire," said Taranga. None of the villagers wanted to meet Mahuika. They were all afraid of the mountain where she lived. So Maui offered to meet Mahuika. He was discreetly glad that his great plan had worked. "Be mindful," said Taranga to her son. "Although you are a descendant of the great goddess, she will not take you kindly if you try to fool her." "I'll find the great Mahuika and bring fire back to the villagers," Maui assured his mother. Maui walked to the end of the earth, to the scorching mountain by following the instructions from his mother, and finally found a very high mountain that glowed red hot with heat. At the base of the mountain, Maui saw his way in at a cave entrance. Maui whispered a spell to himself as protection from what lay beyond before he entered. Only nothing could prepare Maui for what he saw once he entered the sacred place. Mahuika, the goddess, rose before him. Maui saw fire burning on every part of her body, even from her every pore. Mahuika's hair a mass of flames, her arms stretched wide open with fire on them, and there were black holes on her face where her eyes once were. She sniffed the air around her and knew something was coming. "I haven't had company in a while. Who are you, mortal, that dares to enter my dwelling?" After gathering the courage, Maui spoke. "It is I, Maui. I am the descendant of the great goddess Mahuika and the son of Taranga." "Ha!" yelled Mahuika. "Maui, son of Taranga!" "Yes, the last born, Maui Tiki Tiki Ataranga." "Well then, Maui Tiki Tiki Ataranga, welcome, my grandchild. Welcome to the essence of the flame." Mahuika stepped closer to Maui. She took a deep sniff of her grandchild's scent. Maui stood still, even though the flames from Mahuika's skin were unbearably hot. "So, what matters bring you here, Maui Tiki Tiki Ataranga?" Mahuika finally asked. Maui said, "The fires in our village went out many days ago. I have come to ask if we could have your fire for our village." Mahuika listened carefully to her grandchild's concern. She laughed like it was not a big matter for her. She generously pulled one of her fingernails and gave it to him. "Go back to your people and take this fire as a gift. Honor this fire as you honor me." So Maui left carrying the fingernail of fire. Walking back to his village, Maui thought, what would happen if Mahuika had no fire left? Would it grow back on her? Maui, being curious, couldn't contain his excitement. He looked around and threw the fingernail into a stream. He then quickly returned to Mahuika's cave. "I tripped and fell into the river," said Maui. "Could I please have another?" Fortunately, Mahuika was feeling happy. She hadn't spoken to anyone for so long. Besides, she liked Maui. She gave Maui another one of her fingernails, gladly. But Maui soon extinguished the fingernail and returned back to Mahuika with another excuse. "While crossing the river, a fish splashed a flame and it died out," Maui said. Mahuika gave another of her fingernails, not doubting Maui for tricking her. Maui continued deceiving his grandmother until Mahuika had no fingernails left, so she had to give up her toenails. When Maui returned, asking for another, Mahuika realized that her grandchild had been tricking her. She was furious and threw the burning toenail to the ground, surrounding Maui with fire instantly. Maui ran from the cave. Maui changed his shape into a hawk and escaped by soaring to the sky, but the flames scorched so high that they burned the underside of his wings and turned them a glowing red. Burned Maui dived into a river, hoping the water would cool his wings off. However, the blazing hot flames made the water boil. In desperation, Maui called on his ancestor, Tawiri Matea, for help. "Tawiri Matea atua o nga, hai ewa, awi natea mai." Then a mass of clouds gathered, and a torrent of water rained down to put out the fires. Mahuika's scorching mountain no longer burned hot. Mahuika was almost burned out and lost much of her power. As a last resort, she threw her very last toenail at Maui in anger, but it missed Maui and flew into the trees instead. They were the maho, the totara, and the patate, the pukati, and the kaikomako trees. They held on to the fire of Mahuika as a great gift. Maui returned to his village with no fire as the villagers had expected. He brought dry wood from the kaikomako tree instead. He showed them how to rub the dry sticks together to form friction that would eventually start a fire. The villagers thanked Maui. They could finally cook their meals once more and have the warmth at night to comfort them. Maui satisfied his curiosity to find out where fire came from, although he nearly paid the highest price. The native hawk of Aotearoa, the kahu, still remains the red sign feathers to this day as a reminder of how close Maui was to death.